and we're going to do our practice simplification quizzes. Okay? So here we go, the first one. Secant over 1 plus tangent squared. Now remember, you can change that variable to anything you want. So this time I'm going to leave it theta, because some of you have been leaving it theta, which is great. But you can also change it to an x. It doesn't matter. Okay? Now, we have done enough of these that when you see something like this squared thing right here, your beady little eyes should be looking at your reference sheet at this section right here. Right? Because there's probably something in there that's going to help you. All right? So what do you see there on that line? 1 plus tangent squared is secant squared. So I'm going to have secant over secant squared. There's no magic there. I just look at my paper. Now, what happens when you have a secant over a secant squared? We can cancel. When we cancel, be careful. When you cancel, you're going to have 1 left, but the 1 left is going to be on the bottom, and on the top, all you're going to have is a 1. Now remember, we're not leaving 1 over anything, right? We're not leaving 1 over anything, so we have to remember 1 over is a reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of the secant? Cosine. So your simplified answer is cosine. Doesn't matter. Did you get the same answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about ST. There's lots of ways you can do the problem. Okay, so as long as you're ending up at the same place, you're okay. All right, number 2. Different kind of problem. What are we going to do with problem 2? We're going to write all of them as fractions. Now, what if it's a cosine? We just put it over 1. So cosine squared over 1. Put it over 1. What about sine? Over 1. Now, secant, 1 over cosine. Tangent, sine over cosine. That's on your paper. If you don't miss that, that's on your paper, right? Oh, I'm missing Gavin too. All right, now, what happens? There's 2 cosines right there. So those 2 are going to cancel with those 2.
Cancel because they're squared, right? It's just cosine squared.
That's 2. Cosine, cosine. And that's cosine, cosine. So I have 2 cosines on the top and 2 cosines on the bottom. Squared means 2 of them. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do the sines cancel? Nope. There's 2 of them, so the answer is just sine squared.
Is there a way to tell when you're like really done with the problem?
That's a great question. Usually, well, if you're down, I mean, if you get it down this far, obviously that's it, that's done. If there's more left over, sometimes it's hard. I would say get it down to sines and cosines, and then you're probably done. Okay? If we were doing this like in depth, if we were going to devote more time to it, there would actually be an equals something over here, and that would be your goal. We're not going that far, so we're just stop there. These are all going to be easy enough. I think you're going to know when you're done. All right, that was number 2. So now we're doing number 3, practice quiz number 3. Okay? Okay, so we just did that one. We did this one. Practice quiz number 3. Okay, and it starts with one like this one here. Remember, your quiz is going to have 2 problems, and one of them is going to look like number one here. So we have sine squared, secant squared, cosecant, cotangent. Okay? What do you think? What's sine squared? Just over 1. How about secant squared? 1 over cosine squared. How about cosecant? 1 over, not 1 over sine squared, it's not squared, it's just 1 over sine, right? And then cotangent is cosine over sine. Now it's all times, so we're just gonna start canceling. So here's a sine squared and 2 more sines, so that's gonna go. Now, there's 1 cosine in the top, and he'll cancel, but only with 1 of them in the bottom. Right? So what am I left with? 1 over cosine. We don't leave 1 over. 1 over cosine is secant. And there we go. Kids, this is not hard. You got this. You got it. All right, number 2. This looks like one. I don't know. Take a look at it. Nothing on your paper is cubed. Guys, are you listening? Nothing on your paper is cubed. So you're going to have to do something with that numerator. What can you do with the numerator? Take out a sign. If we take out a sign, factor in other words, taking a sign out of here will leave me with 1. Taking a sign out of here will leave me with sine squared. That right there, we've talked about that a lot. What's 1 minus sine squared? Cosine squared. So now we have sine, cosine squared over cosine. Now it's all times, so you're allowed to cancel. The only time you can't just outright cancel is when you have pluses and minuses, right? I don't have any of that, so I can just cancel. So what's going to cancel? 1 of the cosines. And what am I going to be left with? Sine times cosine. That is not tangent. Don't be making that tangent. What's tangent? Sine over cosine. This is sine times cosine, and that's just your answer.
Our final answer, if we use like x instead of theta.
Doesn't matter. If you're going to use x, Mackenzie, I would expect you to use it in the whole problem. Don't do that. Don't like just all of a sudden do all this and then have x's here. But you can change them right off the bat. Okay, so are we a little bit confident here? I think we got this. So we're going to put away everything except our reference sheet.